the WTF moment.
No, start again, because you were too quick there, Brett.
What? You got me halfway through on your live launch, Mike.
Yeah, so I just screwed it up, so start again.
First of all, to the 3 or 4 people that are watching now, most likely, again, I'm having to apologize for Mike's complete inept ability to do anything when it comes to video. And I'm going to stress that he sticks to podcasting production, where I thought he did a phenomenal job. But when it comes to video, Mike, you're a complete moron. So on that note, I'd like to welcome everyone to the WTF moment. As you all know, we're talking about artificial intelligence and making it happen in business. And we've got our first guest today. So I'm really excited about that. So today we're going to be talking about the impact that artificial intelligence could have on the customer experience. And Yugesh Frylinck is... we met through actually arranging another conference and another webinar, and she's an absolute superstar when it comes to customer service. So Yugesh, could you give us, so welcome to our show. Well, thank you for being our first guest. We really chuffed in this new format. We'd love to just share a bit about your background and why people want to probably know why I think you're an absolute legend in the world of customer experience.
Wow, there's a lot of big words there that you're having me to fit into, but I'll try my best. So, Mike, thank you so much for setting this up. I appreciate it, and I don't think you're bad at video.
Thank you.
I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but thank you for allowing me the opportunity, and I hope I get some points for being the first guinea pig. Am I a guinea pig right now?
No, never.
So just a little bit about me. My name is Yugesh Frylinck. Frylinck is English. And I am founder and CEO of the CX group, CX standing for customer experience. And I've been championing customer experience in South Africa for the last 10 years, I would say. But I've been in the field for the last 20 years. Really, I think most customer experience people would say to you that they fell into the role and then they looked up the next moment and they found themselves in this place called customer experience. And I would like to think that, the trend that I see is that we generally, a lot of A-type people, and we definitely don't operate in a box. So we tend to go and work or interfere or try and scrunch and bring the entire business together. And we often have to explain what we're doing in a marketing meeting or in an IT meeting or in an operational meeting. So I think early on in corporate South Africa, I often say that I left most of my jobs with bloody knuckles, but that's not because of fighting, but that was because of knocking down on so many doors. Yeah. So we had to try and do that. And I have fun discussions with people that I've worked with previously that, a statement sticks with them that I've said, but it's because I repeated it 100 times. So I think now that I'm outside the corporate world, I'm having the ability to shift gears and to make a difference much more than I would if I was in a corporate environment. But I'm also, I think, very privileged to have been exposed across industry and understand that, I want to create significance in the customer experience world in South Africa first. I want us to have our own Disney stories. I want us to stop talking about Disney as being the relevant North Star. I want us to start talking about somebody local, some brand local that we've managed to get to the forefront. And I think South Africa is waking up to it. I think a lot of work needs to be done in corporate, but the good thing is that we have moved forward in the last 10 years.
That's exciting. So which brands are doing it in South Africa? Who
My
would you?
goodness.
Who are our North Stars?
I think to be honest with you, I think a lot of people are trying, and I think a lot of people are starting to understand. And blessings in disguise, I shouldn't call it that, but I think COVID has shifted us and moved us into this digital era, whether we like it or not, kicking, screaming, dragged into or pushed into. But the guys that were at the forefront of the digital space and wanting to play in that space are now almost, they don't have that struggle with having to understand whether digital is important or not, or whether our customers are going to need to be in that digital space or not. The guys that took it with two hands. I think to answer your question, Mike, there's not one particular environment that's doing it exceptionally well and doing it all well. I think there's pockets of excellence across industries, and I think that there was a clear distinction. There's a clear distinction between companies that were performing well and companies that weren't performing well pre-COVID. Now. Customers' values, customers' moments of truth, the consumer, you and I and Brett, our values and our list of important things have changed radically during COVID. It's going to remain that way. So, in order for you to show the excellence within the customer experience world is going to show now, and I think. For the guys that are planning for us to go back to the normal way of doing business, they're going to be in trouble.
Yes.
And the guys that are looking forward to the new way, that unusual has become the usual, and that is the guy that's going to win today. So the fact that the doctors right now are calling to ask me whether how am I doing after I've done a checkup with them or after I've gone to visit them. The guy that's willing to prescribe or listen to my my ailments over the phone and then the follow-up check is the guy that matters right now. The guy that's taking that extra time to have a conversation with me. And I'm talking about Guy, that asks me how my financial situation is doing and if I need any help and what kind of things they can do for me to help me during this time. And the guy that understands that I'm an entrepreneur is the guy that's going to matter.
Absolutely. So just in terms of COVID, do you think it's accelerated change or it's disrupted change? Because things were already changing. Has it just sped up what was changing, or has it disrupted the disruption, so to say?
I would like to say it's disrupted.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why.
Yes.
Because disruption is, for me, the ability to try, change, fail, and then adopt something radically different very quickly. So we were on the change cycle. We were, the toe was touching the water.
Yes.
How does it feel? Do we like it? Don't we like it? No, it's too expensive, or no, it's going to take away jobs, or no, it's, we're not ready for this, our customers not into this, or we unbanked, our consumer base is unbanked and they're not interested in digital. Who's got Wi-Fi or not, that's going to determine whether we go, online, digital, we go smarter. And I think that's gone.
Okay.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
So it has disrupted.
So, Brett, you don't have a choice, man.
I was just thinking, there's the WTF moment.
Do you know? Do you know what the WTF moment is? It's that moment. No, man, not you, fat shit. It's that moment where you sit back in your chair and you kind of roll your eyes up into the world, up into the heavens, and you go, "What the fuck do I do now?" Because it's all changed. I mean, we call that "What's the future," but it's actually the WTF moment. That's why we're doing, WTF. It's Friday. It's lunchtime. So let's talk about these WTF moments. Where do you think the biggest WTF moments are in the customer experience at the moment? Is it a technology thing? Is it a mindset thing? Is it a people thing? Is it a process thing? Where do you see the big challenges? I mean, just from a structural point of view.
So I think it's all of those things.
Okay, yeah.
But it's all of those things coming together to innovate responsibly and innovate meaningfully for the customer. So if I have to take that apart, one, we need to from a customer understanding perspective. So I've been saying this, and I don't know, I'm feeling better every time I'm saying it, but I'm feeling there's more conviction behind what I'm just going to say now. I think that all the research that we've done post-COVID can be thrown away.
Post-COVID?
What? Yeah. Well, pre-COVID,
Okay.
Pre-COVID. Okay. Because I think we've all changed. Priorities have changed. Our value sets have changed. The jobs to be done from a consumer perspective has changed.
You're talking about jobs to be done theory?
Yeah, so the jobs to be done theory. And so what jobs do I need to do as a consumer now has changed, which means that as a customer, as a consumer, as a business, corporate, you need to change to align to this. And the way I go to work every day has changed. The way I educate my kids has changed.
Oh my God! Don't even start there, please don't even start there. I mean, can you imagine Brett trying to educate his kids? I mean, the oaks are Muppet at the best of times. Now he's got to try and appear intelligent. What's 2 + 2, Brett?
Mike, are you picking on the fact that I teach my kids with my Muppet hands? Listen,
oh wow!
They love the Muppet. My kids love it. At age 16 and 14, they love it.
This is not a family show, but we're not going there, Brett.
I'll try it. I've got a 4.5-year-old, so I'll try it and let you know. I think it's changed. Our needs have changed. What we need out of a brand has changed significantly, and we're becoming far much more fussier, demanding, and the glitz and glamour and the lipstick has gone away. You say you can do this for me, do it. So I want that. I don't want I don't want the flashiness. I want the basics. Guy Kawasaki was talking on a show recently, and he was talking about the difference between shopping in a grocery shop and a difference between shopping online now during COVID. And as a consumer, as a corporate environment, or as a business, you need to understand this. You walk into a grocery store now, and well, we're not Americans, but I mean, we've got about 5 different peanut butters available to us right now, from crunchy to smooth to sugarless, and you've got the different brands that are available. But now if you go online and you find one bottle of peanut butter, and you know your family starts with peanut butter on toast every morning, you're just happy with that one bottle of peanut butter. So life has changed significantly for us. Business needs to understand that, and we need to bring everybody together. The tech, we need to bring the processes, the people, the C-suite, and the way we used to do things before, all together in order to innovate together for this new way of working.
No, exactly. And quite often the C-suite is the dark suite, because they cannot see what they actually need to be seeing, which makes it quite challenging.
I think that's where it's important to get data. I think the C-suite can't see it, because once the reporting's being distilled up the chain, you've got different teams getting it into a one-pager, and then that one page is being collated into another presentation that's distilled and distilled. By the time it gets to the G-suite, I do agree with you. I mean, the G-suite, the C-suite.
Is your vacuum going on in the background there, Brett?
Yes, it is. Hold on.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. We're live.
That's the other thing we've gotten used to. We've gotten used to To kids coming in, we've gotten used to vacuum cleaners, lawnmowers, and hardy-does.
I thought I had a technical problem there for a second. In fact, I was chatting to one of our legal team the other day, and his daughter snuck up behind him and she started pulling faces at me, and I couldn't stop laughing. And he's like, "What are you laughing about? This is serious stuff." And I was like, "She's not very serious about it." And it was hysterical. I mean, but it's great. It just shows humanity at its best. It really does. You know, we can take the carrot out of our asses, quite frankly. Sorry, Brett, I interrupted you through your vacuum there.
Our house hasn't been vacuumed in weeks. I don't know why today is a priority.
Right now, at this time, your wife's making a point. So, yeah.
So I guess back to the non-vacuum example was, C-suite is in a dark space because they're not seeing the real impact.
Yes.
It's been distilled so heavily that I think this world that we're seeing around data becomes vitally important. To be able to take that data, make it more accessible, make it more real time. And I get excited about the artificial intelligence
Yes.
layer that sits on top of it to enable C-suite to make better decisions, to be more predictive. Because to your point, Yugeshni, was that we're in uncertain times. So this traditional gut that an executive might have, I've been doing this for
Yes.
so long, I'm going to make the right call. I think that's gone.
Yeah.
We have no idea what the future is really holding at the moment. Day in, day out, it seems to change.
Correct. I think a lot of us have been collecting data for the sake of collecting data. And I think with the maturity level within the customer experience world, we talk about, there's a stage in your maturity where you're just collecting. You're collecting, but you don't know what to do with it.
Yes.
And what I've said often is that our job as customer experience officers are, what is he whispering?
He's shouting at his wife.
Oh,
Kids
dear
to-
me.
Yeah.
So I've often said that we need to become better storytellers.
Yes, I agree.
And as customer experience officers, that storytelling needs to become so important that he needs to. I love this actually.
Yeah, I know.
I'm allowed to have a sip of my water and coffee right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think if Brett is still listening, because now I'm not a good storyteller because he's moved on.
Yeah, he's broken your whole chain of thought there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really my test audience actually. So yeah, no, I think storytelling has become very important,
Yeah.
but we also don't have the time to figure it out. So that's where AI comes in, and AI helps me tell a better story to ensure that C-suite takes the blinkers off, because a lot of times marketing only looks at marketing. And whatever's happening in
Yes.
operations, and whether you can deliver against the promise that I sold, and if operations is only dealing with operations and doesn't care about what marketing has sold and how do I align with that, then we're not going to get any better and we're not going to grow. And I think what AI will do is it flattens and takes away all those blinkers so that you can tell one story. And you can tell one story to one team, because often at C-suite they believe that they're separate entities. In actual fact, they're not. And that, I think, is one of the biggest challenges that AI could bring to the table.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, though, in terms of the maturity, because when we talk about AI, everyone sees a silver bullet coming down the road. They think, we'll just put AI in. But the challenge is to actually have the right data. And you mentioned the word innovation earlier. And I really struggle to understand how innovation happens without a properly structured data environment when you're looking at trying to disrupt your business model. I mean, obviously innovation can happen in its isolated pockets, whether it's a retail store redesigning its layout in a very innovative way. But again, it should be informed by data in today's world. How mature are you finding this ability of AI to really drive that change?
So from what I've read and what I've been exposed to, I think AI is fundamentally a huge enabler to helping us become smarter and become play better in the customer experience space. And customer experience is the thing that's going to make a difference, whether you like it or not. I mean, you got coffee shop A next to coffee shop B. They both sell the same coffee, same price. The one guy is doing well and the one guy is not doing well. You've got to ask yourself why, and it's customer experience. But what happens is, what I'm seeing right now is people are collecting data for the sake of collecting data. Well, I've seen people not collecting data at all.
Yes.
In this day and age, there's massive, huge corporations that have been collecting data on the wrong customer. So when you have your B2B2C relationships, often the guy thinks it's his B2B relationship that he needs to hold on to, and without understanding that B2B2C relationship, and he doesn't have data in that space. I think the data is going to be the enabler. I think right now, I'm hoping right now that South Africa understands that this is where the game changer lies. Because previous to this, we have been, the guy that's the renegade, the guy that's the Lone Ranger on his horse has been trying this AI stuff. And then there's actually AI is taking the same or walking the same journey that customer experience did. If I could say the word customer experience, and if I could say one or two things about customer experience, then I've got customer experience right in my business.
Yeah.
But there's an entire framework around AI that needs to be supported in order for it to enable the business. And that's the education piece. And that's where I think South Africa needs to go to very quickly right now. We all need to be educated on AI because, I mean, Breton, you and I had the conversation where artificial intelligence, we're thinking of robots. We're thinking of, Robocop, or we're thinking of those kind of things. And then we're thinking about, okay, so it's going to take my job away.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's going to make me smarter. I'm going to be able to provide that experience that the customer needs, down to the point of not segmentation, because segmentation doesn't matter. Lifestyle and my life choices and jobs to be done is what matters. And I think AI help us take the data to that level where I can understand the difference between, person A calling in and person B calling in and what they need from me.
100%.
I have to admit, I really see AI when it comes to customer experience in that situation is you're able to consistently deliver the quality that you want to deliver in your service and maybe product, but at scale. Before we had to rely on training human beings the whole time, and we're humans, right? We always make mistakes, or we've had a bad day, and what humans are really good at are the complex things. Whereas we can make AI do these, I'm so tired of saying, hi, how you doing? How can I help you? When, I've had the crappiest day ever, and I've said this to 400 people over the last week. I really am not feeling that motivated to do that. I'd rather be doing something more interesting. So I feel AI plays that role in doing that. And I think the end result is it helps businesses and brands help better manage the trust that they're trying to establish, to create that consistency. Because trust takes time, and it requires this consistent quality of service, and that's really difficult to do with thousands of people trying to manage someone or try to create this hyper-personalized experience. So I think it's going to play a really interesting role in really reigniting the trusted relationship between service provider and consumer, maybe.
I think you hit the nail on the head. We said, at one of the talks that I had, I said, we spent the last 30 years distancing ourselves from our customer, putting in IVRs, giving you, biometric stuff to do on your. We need to spend the next 30 years bringing ourselves closer, bringing the customer closer to us. And what you just said now is that AI is going to allow me to do that because I know the significant differences between, Brett calling in and then Michael calling in, and how I need to see each one of them and who wants what and how I need to, switch between the two. But also, you don't want to wait 10 minutes on an IVR before you speak to a human being, whereas you could have used that 10 minutes to to use an automated solution that will help you with your needs. And we're talking about the new human being now that's coming out into the work world and into the consumer world. He's got a wallet now. The guy that wants to search for everything. He doesn't download information in his brain and keeps it to you and rattles to you. Because when I grew up,
What?
we had to go.
No, man, I thought that's how it worked.
When I had to go to school, I had to do 10 short notes and I had to by heart it. And I had to write it down in my exam. Now you ask Google.
Yeah.
So don't put him into, don't put him into 6 weeks of training to answer and to by heart 10 short notes. Give it to the robot to do it and give him the more interesting stuff.
Absolutely. So what's going to happen post-COVID? How do you see this world of customer experience accelerating? And I mean, I know it's a difficult question, but where do you see the big wins? Where do you see the big opportunities? And where's the fun going to be? Where are businesses going to win?
I think
That's a rough question.
No, it is, and that's why I say it's.
Your course of action now is going to determine whether you are still around post-COVID. And post-COVID is, what is it? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it the next 3 years? We don't know. So I don't even know whether we should be speaking post-COVID because we don't know. I think we're entering into a new era.
Yes.
And I think we're talking about contactless, which is going to be huge. I don't want to get involved with, pieces of paper and, passing me a keypad, and I don't want to go to an ATM and put in numbers. And so contactless, I think, is going to be huge. Self-service, meaning self-service is going to be huge. I think trust is going to be huge. And trust, and I'm not talking trust as in a billboard and a well-designed, emotional video on TV. It's not about that anymore.
No.
It's about the trust between me and your brand and my last conversation with you. So customers become more demanding. Customer has high expectations of you taking care of him. Which
is reasonable, because I mean I really do believe the greatest brand differentiation is the quality of the customer experience. You mentioned it earlier. The 2 coffee shops supply well exceeds demand, and what makes you stand out is the quality of the customer relationships, and therein lies the trust, and therein lies the value. So it'll be interesting. I mean, when you mentioned the contactless, I mean, my first thought was, wait a minute, that means no money, because I don't want to, because immediately I thought of the tap on the credit card machine as opposed to putting in my PIN. I love the tap. Small change, big impact. But what happens when we don't need money, the implications, and I'm in my mind starting to spin a bit in terms of, well, from an economics point of view, from a structural point of view, from the creation of money, from a banking. So it'll be a very interesting thing in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of these kind of things going forward. It'll be very interesting.
I didn't think money. You know what came to mind first? Was a paperless supply chain.
I thought you.
I thought that would be incredible.
It would be. It really would. Which really talks to the world of automation. It talks to automation.
It talks to automation, but it also talks to, again, the value of a distributed ledger.
It does. It does.
We've never been forced to use a centralized ledger that is completely contactless. I'm thinking of old Christoph, and he's created this ability to remove paper from a supply chain. And it's just fabulous how he's thought about it. This guy's literally gone, how do I get off a system that's better than paper? And he's been working on it for years, and you've just raised the point now, contactless, hold on, his business must be flying. I must actually reach out to him and get an understanding of where his business is, because if everything becomes contactless,
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the printer game or photocopier game anymore.
No, you don't. So,
Print cartridge.
Brett, have you got any questions to wrap up on? We're hitting a half an hour.
Yeah, I'd like to. What really interested me was your view around, your customer experience doesn't start with your customer, that it starts with your team, your employees. And I also see a lot of impact of artificial intelligence helping your employees more and more and more across so many areas that, whether it's predictive ability, whether it's the ability to use voice as an interface in your business. There's so many, really incredible experiences. I'd love to share your view on the experience of an employee and the impact that has on your customer experience.
Yeah, I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk. I've got a little bit of pockets of people that I follow and I love.
Love him. Gary V.
Yeah, and he said, I love my customer, but I love my employees more than I love breathing.
Yes.
And it's because you are as smart and you are as effective as your people. Your employee is going to take that value proposition from that piece of paper and make it a reality. Your employee is going to have to be taken care of, and the way you take care of him is how he's going to take care of your customer. So culture and employee experience is exceptionally important in order to deliver the right customer experience. And that's now asking HR, forgive me if anybody's in the HR space, to move beyond administration.
Yes.
And really trying to understand people, behavior, psychology. I often saw, and I know a lot of friends in the HR space, and they're wonderful, beautiful people. But often what happens is that HR is used as the front line to the employees protecting the C-suite.
Yes, they are. I quite agree.
That needs to change. And we need to bring in that level of AI that enables the HR world and leaders in all spaces where you're working with people to be able to understand each other better, to be able to work with each other better, to be able to take away the frustrations of each environment. And often we say no as a leader internally because we don't have the internal capability of taking it away. And hopefully now if we start exploring in the AI space, we can quite understand that the biggest pain points from an employee perspective or an employee experience perspective, we can take away those thorns to be able to make life a little bit more easier. And like we spoke about the customer post-COVID, there's also the employee post-COVID. I am now having to have this interview online with you, which is what we generally did. But now we're having a team meeting or a coaching session online. And I'm now having to work online, and you have to trust that you're going to have to manage me on an outcome-based perspective.
Yes.
The micromanager, the micro leader has to go away.
Yeah, it must be a disaster for them.
Yeah. And I'm seeing companies trying to do that now, because what they are asking you to do is like log on to Slack or log on to some kind of thing that manages your productivity. But I'm not an idiot. I'm going to log on and I'm going to keep it on for the entire day, but I'm going to go mow my lawn outside because it's a sunny day now.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But, I'm not saying it's going to be as extreme as that, but we need to trust. We need to be more, as employees as well, we need to be more open with what we want and how we want to see the world working and how we want to be managed.
Absolutely.
But we also need to align to the business objectives.
100%. I think that's a great note to finish off on. What do you think, Brett?
I think that's absolutely fabulous, Yugeshni. You are a superstar.
Yeah.
I'm the perfect guinea pig.
You are fantastic, and we're gonna give you more than a couple of brownie points.
You're allowed to go. It's Friday, so you can go and have that glass of wine now.
Thank you.
And you're allowed to go buy it as well, which is just as important. Yeah.
The privileges we have.
The privileges.
The big question, though, still remains. We're going to have to review what this looks like afterwards to see what kind of disaster Mike did from a production point of view.
It was a bit of a mess. It was a bit of a mess. So sorry to everyone. So sorry. And on that production note, I'm going to click the finish button here, Brett. So goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.